Hey Reefers, this is my 75-gallon SPS tank. It is a marine land aquarium and I got it from PetSmart about 3.5 years ago. The rock I use for this tank is dry rock and I use black sand. I don't suggest black sand because it is magnetic, but I didn't know it at the time. Lighting for this tank consists of 4 Kessel A360X lights. I personally like Kessels because they color up coral pretty good, and also I like the shimmer. The reason for 4 lights on this tank is for par spread. The lighting in this tank is actually pretty even except for where it's shaded underneath certain coral. And those are custom lids I made out of polycarbonate. You can use glass lids or no lids or screens. I just happen to like those because they keep fish from jumping out, they keep water from splashing my lights, and it holds some evaporation in. This is the return nozzle for the tank. It's a 3/4 size. If I were to do this tank again, I would probably go for the 1 inch. I just recently upgraded my power heads to 2 gyres. These are the Jabo gyres. I have the 90 and the 120 model, and they work pretty good. I like them a lot better than power heads. This is the overflow box. It is the eShops Eclipse, and it has 3 drains on it. This is the large model. And here we have the controllers for the return pump, the skimmer, and the 2 gyres. I go with usually the cheap pumps and the cheap wave makers and everything, and I try them out, and if they work good then I just stay with them. If not, then I'll eventually upgrade to the more expensive ones, but so far I stick to the cheap stuff. And here's my sump. Nothing too fancy, just a 29-gallon aquarium. I do have the Apex on it though. There's the dose, and I also have the Trident. Those are a lifesaver with this tank because this tank uses a lot of alkalinity and calcium, and there is no way I can manually dose that every day. And I like to leave my reagent bottles out of my Trident like that because it makes it easier to change them. I use 2-part for this tank, and I use Seachem Reef Fusion. I don't have a lot of crazy baffles inside of this, but I do have one just to keep the skimmer level side at the right level so that way my skimmer's not rising and falling in level. And there it is right there. The water level's a little high right now. And on the other side here, here's a Turbo Twist UV sterilizer. When I had Dino, this helped take some of it away, so now every 6 months I'll change the ball on it. And here's my makeshift refugium. There's some Chaeto in a basket. And there's my skimmer. Oh, looks like I gotta clean it. Getting a little full. And there's 2 of the drain lines. One with the valve so it makes a full suction so it's not so noisy. And there's the emergency right there. I know if I hear that going off then I have a problem. I have a plug somewhere, so that's why I have it like that, so it'll make some noise. And there's my little sock holder, just holding the sock up for the 2 drains. And that's my sump. Nothing too fancy, not very expensive. The Apex is probably the most expensive part of it all. This tank did not happen overnight. It is almost 4 years old. When it first started, I had frags just like everybody else. The only thing I did was actually stick with it when I would get dino or algae or other problems, and I would solve the problems and keep going forward. But this was my challenge tank, and it has challenged me over the years. The one thing that I would do differently in this tank is not go with the black sand. I just went with the black sand because all my other tanks had the white sand, but this Hawaiian black sand has iron in it. So if you have a magnetic glass cleaner, it'll grab some of that iron in between the cleaner and the glass and it'll scratch your glass. And I do have some scratches in the glass. All in all though, this still is my favorite tank. I probably say that about all my tanks too though. For those of you thinking about getting an SPS tank or just adding some SPS corals to your current tank, just know that it is achievable. I get asked often what my secret is, and the number one thing I tell people is patience. Patience with the Reef tank is very helpful. However, I feel that patience with an SPS tank is a must. Taking your time and having patience will help you succeed. As you can see, this tank is quite full. I no longer add coral to this tank, but it still requires daily maintenance and care. If you like these videos, please consider subscribing and hitting the like button. Thank you for watching, and happy reefing.